Before we go any further, if you care about serious military history, urban survival, and the hard lessons cities learned under fire, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment right now. Your support keeps this kind of deep, research-driven content alive, and I read the comments because this channel is built for people who actually care about history, not surface-level summaries. Now let's get into it. Cities have always been battlefields, long before drones, satellites, and precision weapons. The truth most people miss is that many of the smartest urban defenses were developed centuries ago, refined through sieges, rebellions, and invasions, and quietly forgotten once modern technology took center stage. In 2026, as cities once again face disruption from conflict, instability, and infrastructure collapse, these older systems are proving disturbingly relevant. Not because they are nostalgic, but because they were built for endurance, redundancy, and human-scale survival. This guide isn't about romanticizing the past. It's about understanding which forgotten city defenses still work, why they work, and how their principles can be applied today in very practical ways. How layered city layouts were designed to slow enemies, not stop them outright. Medieval and early modern cities rarely relied on a single wall or barrier. They were designed in layers, with streets, districts, and choke points arranged to exhaust attackers over time. Narrow roads, irregular intersections, sudden dead ends, and enclosed courtyards forced invaders to slow down, break formation, and lose momentum. In 2026, this concept remains effective against any force that relies on speed, vehicles, or centralized control. The practical application today is understanding your city's older districts. If you live or operate near historical neighborhoods, you should already know which streets restrict vehicle access, where sight lines disappear, and where movement naturally bottlenecks. In a wartime scenario, these areas are safer, not because they are hidden, but because they are difficult to dominate quickly. Civilians who understand layered layouts can plan movement routes that avoid wide modern roads, using older street patterns to reduce exposure and delay threats. Why underground infrastructure has always been a city's real lifeline. Ancient cities invested enormous effort into underground systems. Tunnels, cisterns, catacombs, and service corridors were not afterthoughts. They were survival tools. During sieges, water access mattered more than weapons. Cities that could move people, supplies, and information below ground survived longer than those that couldn't. In modern cities, forgotten basements, utility tunnels, subway maintenance corridors, and storm drains still form an invisible second city beneath the streets. Knowing where these systems exist, how they connect, and which ones remain accessible can mean the difference between being trapped and relocating safely during active conflict. This isn't about turning tunnels into escape fantasies. It's about recognizing that underground routes reduce exposure to snipers, drones, and surveillance, while offering temperature stability and sound insulation. Practical preparation means studying old city maps, identifying public infrastructure access points, and understanding which underground spaces remain structurally sound. How fire breaks and controlled destruction protected entire districts. Before modern firefighting, cities learned that fire could be both a threat and a defensive tool. Firebreak streets, stone districts, and deliberately empty zones were designed to stop fires from spreading and to deny attackers cover. These spaces often appear wasteful in peacetime, but they become priceless during urban warfare. In 2026, this concept applies to how neighborhoods manage open spaces, courtyards, and non-residential buffers. Parks, wide stone plazas, and industrial zones reduce the spread of fire and limit ambush positions. From a survival standpoint, identifying fire-resistant buildings and zones with limited flammable materials provides safer shelter during bombardment or sabotage. This is especially relevant in cities where fires now spread faster due to modern synthetic materials. Why decentralized food storage kept cities alive when supply lines failed? Historical cities never trusted a single granary. Food was stored across monasteries, guild halls, private homes, and fortified cellars. This decentralization prevented famine when one cache was destroyed or captured. Modern cities reversed this logic, relying on centralized logistics that collapse quickly under pressure. The lesson here is immediate and practical. Survival in an urban conflict requires dispersing food, water, and essential supplies across multiple locations. Even small-scale decentralization, such as storing supplies in different buildings or with trusted neighbors, mirrors this historical resilience. Cities that survive are not those with the biggest warehouses, but those where loss does not equal collapse. How visual deception and false priorities confused attackers. Old cities used decoy gates, misleading towers, and false administrative centers to divert enemy focus. Attackers wasted time and resources targeting structures that seemed important but held little value. Meanwhile, real command and survival functions were hidden in plain, unremarkable buildings. In modern terms, this teaches the importance of not concentrating visible signs of importance. For civilian survival, this means avoiding obvious patterns. Shelters that look like shelters attract attention. Supply depots that look valuable become targets. Historically proven defense means blending essential functions into ordinary spaces, reducing visibility rather than increasing fortification. Why community organization mattered more than walls. No city survived on stone alone. Neighborhood watches, guild responsibilities, and civilian drills ensured that everyone knew their role during crisis. People understood where to gather, who distributed supplies, and how information flowed without centralized command. Today, this translates directly into local preparedness, informal networks, trusted communication chains, and shared knowledge outperform official systems once those systems fail. The historical lesson is simple and uncomfortable. Cities fall fastest when citizens wait to be rescued instead of acting together. Forgotten city defenses are not relics, they are blueprints. In 2026, they still work because they were designed around human behavior, limited resources, and long-term endurance rather than technological superiority. Understanding them is not academic nostalgia, it is practical survival knowledge rooted in centuries of trial and error. If this guide added real value to your understanding of urban defense and survival history, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who takes history seriously, and leave a comment with the city or era you want analyzed next. This channel exists for people who refuse to forget the lessons written into stone, streets, and underground tunnels.